It's really easy for content creators to forget and overlook simple practices when it comes to making content that sells. This is what's going to keep your fans coming back over and over and over. Welcome back to On the Horizon. This is MelRose Michaels. I am your host, and I'm here to share what's worked for me in building my adult creator business to try to make building yours just a little bit easier. Let's get into today's episode. Assembly4 are a collective of sex workers and technologists working to bring the overall cost of advertising down for sex workers through their ad platform Tryst.link, educate clients through the Good Client Guide, and much more. Assembly4 caters to all genders and demographics and raises funds for organizations to fight for sex workers' rights, the decriminalization of sex work, and against exploitation in the sex industry. Learn more at the website assembly4.com for the word, not the number. Hello, everyone. I am MelRose Michaels. Thank you so much for joining today's podcast episode. I do want to mention that we did just release a new item in our SWCEO.com/shop. It is a November content calendar, and we also have a brand new sexing script. So if you wanted to check that out, they are there available for PDF download. I also wanted to take a moment to thank, I think it's pronounced Diamond Legs too, on our YouTube channel for their feedback on our CapCut tutorial. So this is a new tutorial. It's available right now over on YouTube. And the comment that they left was, "This tutorial is awesome. I love the channel on YouTube. I like the keyframe and body retouch parts. Definitely something I wasn't utilizing. Excellent information." So huge thank you to Diamond Lakes for leaving the comment and interacting and engaging with us. As all of us know from running businesses on social media, engagement is everything. So it is so appreciated. This is going to be a conversational space. So while we're kind of waiting for people to come up and speak, I wanted to prompt a bit of a conversation around optimizing your content as much as possible. It's really easy for content creators, and especially those of us who've been around a long time, to forget and overlook simple practices when it comes to making content that sells. I like to compare a lot of what we do to the mainstream YouTube creator space because there are a ton of parallels between the both of them. So both YouTubers and content creators create videos, we create thumbnails, we use social media to drive most of our traffic, we get videos purchased, we get videos views or streamed, and then we also convert fans to premium social platforms oftentimes, like Patreon for the YouTubers or an OnlyFans for a lot of us. However, there's a ton more of available information on how to grow a YouTube channel or like how to crack the YouTube algorithm compared to what's presently available for us adult content creators. So I wanted to take this opportunity while we're waiting for people to come up and request to speak to kind of, I guess, go over what the similarities are and pull what we can learn from what successful YouTubers do that can benefit us, the adult creators that are listening to this right now. So the first thing we can steal is thumbnails that convert to clicks. So I'm not sure if you knew, but massive YouTubers like MrBeast, for example, test over 200 thumbnails before choosing which one they're going to use on a video. Everything from color composition, color saturation, font styles, attention-grabbing words, and more come into play when creating a great thumbnail. This is something that the porn industry has always known and utilized for pay sites, DVDs, and everything else. Massive production studios, in fact, like Brazzers, for example, are absolutely testing thumbnails for the content that they release. However, majority of independent adult performers aren't. In fact, the average OnlyFans creator isn't even using thumbnails at all, despite having that free preview feature available to them. We work so hard on making great content, but the reality is the thumbnail is essentially our content's first impression because everything else is paywalled. So whether that's a locked feed post or a locked PPV message, a clip in a clip store, it really makes no difference. So I wanted to kind of take a moment to go over the 12 elements of what makes a good thumbnail that you should consider when you're shooting your next scene. The first element is high quality imagery. So using high resolution images or screenshots from your video, but ensuring that the image is clear and visually appealing. So ideally, it would be a picture or a screenshot from the video that highlights the peak of the climax or the scene itself, or essentially whatever stands out and makes your scene unique and appealing to begin with. The next element of a good thumbnail is contrasting colors. Using vibrant, contrasting colors will make your thumbnail stand out. Colors that complement your branding can also be especially effective. Typically, you're going to want to also bump up the saturation as well. This way, when your video is in a clip store format, it's going to stand out amongst all the other clips that might be on that homepage.
If you're enjoying this podcast episode so far, please take one moment to share it with another one of your adult content creator friends, because you know what the rule is here. We do not gatekeep, and we want to make as many adult creators' businesses as easy as possible. And you sharing this episode with them might do exactly that. Thanks so much in advance.
The third element to a great thumbnail is including concise and attention-grabbing text on the thumbnail itself. So using large, legible fonts and bold styles. The text should convey the video's topic and offer a teaser to pique interest. It isn't often used in porn thumbnails. However, if you were to head over to Pornhub right now, you will notice that 25% or so of what you see on the homepage has text in the thumbnail to emphasize or draw attention to the topic of the scene itself. The fourth element would be title clarity. If you do include text in your thumbnail, making sure that it doesn't clutter the thumbnail, keeping it brief, to the point, and using a few words or less, or just a short phrase. The fifth element would be relevance. The thumbnail should accurately represent the content in the video. You always want to avoid misleading or clickbait imagery that doesn't relate to the video. Essentially, you want the person who clicks on your video to leave after watching it feeling like they got what was originally promised in the thumbnail. This is what's going to keep your fans coming back over and over and over. The next element is faces and emotions. If your video features people, which it should, use close-up shots of faces displaying relevant emotions or reactions. Humans are naturally drawn to faces. Our brain seeks them out. So this can be especially useful for emphasizing like an O face or other exaggerated expressions in your thumbnail. The seventh element is to maintain a consistent style, so consistency. If you maintain a consistent style for your thumbnails, you can build brand recognition. So using the same color font or color schemes or the layout for all of your thumbnails. You can also incorporate a channel logo or a consistent branding element like a watermark, for example, to reinforce your channel's identity. Because ultimately, the more repetitive your thumbnails look in theme overall, the easier it's going to become for your fans and repeat viewers to notice your clips from the crowd. The eighth element of a strong thumbnail is going to be visual hierarchy. So arranging elements in a way that guides the viewer's eye naturally to the most important elements of the thumbnail. Make the most important aspects of the thumbnail larger and more distinct, which will communicate and emphasize their overall importance. The ninth crucial element to a great thumbnail is going to be simplicity. You want to avoid clutter by leaving some empty space around the main elements. This enhances the readability of the text and also will make the thumbnail feel less chaotic. Keep your thumbnail design simple and uncluttered, because an uncluttered thumbnail will help not to confuse viewers or deter them from clicking. Oftentimes, in this scenario, less really is more. The 10th element is my favorite, testing. Experimenting with different thumbnail designs to see which ones will perform best. And you can do this with 2 or 3 thumbnail options right on your OnlyFans or your Twitter feed with a poll asking which fans they're more likely to click on. This also serves as pre-promotion for the content itself, and it's going to drive excitement around the content just by you sharing the thumbnails and asking for feedback. The 11th element is compliance. So you always want to ensure that your thumbnail follows terms of service for whatever the platform you're posting to is, avoiding using explicit imagery or nudity if you're posting to a platform that doesn't allow those things in front of a paywall. And then the 12th element, and this is just one that I feel like gets overlooked a lot, which is making sure it's mobile friendly. So keeping in mind that a lot of viewers access adult platforms from mobile devices, so making sure your thumbnails are legible and visually appealing on smaller screens. That is going to be a huge one. So now that you have an idea of how much attention goes into something like a content thumbnail, we can kind of start to move on to the second thing that we want to include to get more views, purchases, and subscriptions from our content. Before we do that, I see that we have Yvette here, and I want to bring you up to speak. And Yvette, you have the floor.
Oh my God, hello.
Hello, welcome.
So we have to be excellent storytellers as well. And we have to be mindful of everything that's going on in the climate. And we have to be so creative on top of that and be beautiful. Wow.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Right.
Yes, that's all the things.
So in doing this, and these are great points that you shared, and I want to get into more of the personal. For me, I started originally kind of sort of by myself, but I started with my husband along the way. Okay. So I had a content partner. So I want to know from either you or anyone in the room, I'm asking this, and I know it's recorded, so I'm being mindful and I'm very transparent. When you decide, hey, I want a relationship in this business, but not necessarily meaning that my partner is doing the same business, they have a regular vanilla job, but it's just me in this. And you say, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to take on this relationship role. What do you do when you know? Because for me, I know that certain content that I make, it just is great when it's with someone versus me doing a lot of the solo stuff. But what do you do to not kind of taint or make the relationship go in another direction where you don't want it to go? Because I've had relationships to where I brought them in on my business and then it was all about us just making money together, yada, yada, yada. And then the relationship was like kind of fizzling out because of it, because it was my baby and now you're trying to take over. You know what I mean? So where is the balance in that if you choose to bring someone in, either on a project or on a couple of things? How do you all in 2023, how do y'all do it? As far as, because I know how I did it, and some things failed and some things they work. When you choose to bring on
For
a
sure.
partner and doing this work, because not saying I need someone to help me, but it's nice to not go at it solo when it comes to my expressions.
Okay, this is great. So I will first I'd like to maybe ask Ruby if she's available to come up to speak to this because she might have some great insight here. But in the meantime, I will just for transparency's sake, I don't film with my partner. I am married. I do have a committed, long-term
Right.
partner. But my work, kind of like to what you had said, is really my baby, and I don't include him in that. Also, just I don't make that kind of content, or I haven't, at least to this point in my career. But I do know a lot of creators who do make content with their partners and do have to manage having a relationship and then having the business piece and then also having the separation between the two. And if someone wants to come up to add who has this personal experience, please request to come up and speak. But I can share just from the friends that I have in the industry and what they've done. Oh, here we go. We got Ruby. So let me bring Ruby up as a speaker. All right, Ruby, the mic is yours.
Hello. Of course, I'm here listening.
Welcome,
Yes.
welcome.
So I do shoot with my partner, my husband, and I also shoot a lot of content with other male and female creators. And I would say it takes a lot of communication. And I know for us, the collabs that I do are contractual. That's what I call them. It's contractual. It's a job. At that point, do I love it and enjoy it? Of course. But we also came from the swing lifestyle. We've been in that for about 15 years. And so there's been a lot of work in the beginning of that as far as communication, but I don't know if that answered your question.
Yes, it does answer it. And that was the thing. Yes, I was in that lifestyle, but when you decide to say, hey, we're mono and we're going to do mono for now, and this is how it's going to be, I hear what you're saying as far as the balance is concerned. And you've definitely answered that. But I'm saying, I know there's some young ladies and some seasoned ones. Like, how do you have the balance in that as far as with your partner? You're right with the contractual. Like, say, for instance, if I have a project, right? And I want him to do something that I already have on my timeline, but I want to do it again, but I want to have it in a more different type of setting where there are different angles. And then at the end of the day, it's like, how do you get your personal time and then your content days and not let your business overlap the relationship when things like really are lucrative because they want to see more of you guys together?
Gotcha. Yeah. So a couple things is we schedule time away from the business. So
Okay.
like phones are off, that kind of thing. So we get our personal time in. We do date nights, different things like that. Because it is important if you're working with your partner, because we are equal in the business, although I run it as a full-time job and he works a day job.
Okay.
So definitely scheduling that time away is really important.
Okay. And these things I do know, but I'm like, am I missing something? That's why I always have to ask other women and other creators, like, am I missing something? Because I feel like I'm something. Because before it was always about me in the relationship, always about my business, and I try to make sure he has something going on. Because if he doesn't have something else going on, outside of that, it kind of like takes over. Everything that I do takes over.
Absolutely agree. And we have been in that situation. And I would say, feel free to DM me. I am happy to chat with you about
Absolutely. I definitely will.
Oh, I love that
Thank
CEO squat.
it. Thank you, MelRose.
Thank you for coming up. Thank you, Yvette, for a great question. Okay, so I'm going to bring us back and recap and also circle back to what Yvette started saying at the beginning when she came up, which was about kind of the overall storytelling that we do. Because the second thing that really goes into optimizing your content to get clicks is a powerful hook. So we often talk on SWCEO about hooks in our tweets or in our IG reels or in our TikToks. But most of us don't realize that you should also be using a strong hook in your adult content as well. Most content has some sort of preview or it'll autoplay the first few seconds when it's featured in a clip store. But you can also create a trailer and make it available as a free preview on your OF feed and to your PPV messages to utilize this as well. The idea is that you need a hook or a way to hook the viewer into wanting to watch the rest of the video in the first few moments of the trailer or preview or autoplay. This is something that I learned really well in my premium Snapchat career early on. You want to do this in just 1 or 2 sentences, and the goal is to set the scene and raise the stakes. An example of this would be, say, a video where I'm role-playing, being at a party, and hooking up with a stranger in the bathroom. Even if the entire scene is staged and shot in my house or at a proper set, the first few seconds of the clip should include those 2 elements of setting the stage and raising the stakes. Instead of what I would typically do, which would be maybe start the video filming me walking in sexy heels into a crowded room with music playing and party lights on, which is what a lot of creators often do. They create some sort of really cinematic beginning to their content. Rather, what we should do is incorporate a strong hook. So a better approach to this piece of content would be starting with my face on camera with party lights going off in the background and me saying, "It's really loud in here. I can't hear you. Do you want to go to the bathroom where it's quieter?" And then cut that to a sexy clip of me in the bathroom with said stranger saying something, or rather moaning it. And an example could be, "Fuck, they're going to hear us. We're too loud." So this sentence, or sentence 1, sets the scene. We're at a party and it's loud. And sentence 2 sets the stakes. What if we get caught? Which ideally should capture the viewer's attention enough to make them want to watch the full video to find out whether or not we get caught. So this is important because a lot of the hooks don't get incorporated into content, and that's why when you first play the first few seconds of something, people either fall off and it kills your watch time in adult content or in YouTube, or they get hooked and they watch it throughout the entire course of the full length of the video. So you never want to underestimate the importance of including a hook in your content. And not every hook is going to be equal. Some will be more exciting or less exciting depending on the stakes you set, but incorporating something is going to be a lot more valuable than not incorporating a hook at all. Finally, the last thing to consider on how to optimize your content to perform well, or as well as possible, and we've been over this, is the content's caption or description itself. So we've spoken at length on SWCEO about how important good copy is. In fact, we even launched the Telegram bot and the content calendars on our website shop to help you with this as much as possible. However, I still see creators every day posting content with mediocre captions and descriptions, or worse, no caption or description at all. I want to take the time to talk about 5 elements that make a good post caption or video description for your content. 1 would be the video title. So starting your description by repeating the video's title, because this reinforces the video's topic and it's also going to help with SEO, so search engine optimization. The title should be eye-catching and ideally short. The second element to a good description is going to be a brief introduction. So writing a concise intro that summarizes what the video is going to be about. And here you want to use a lot of adjectives or descriptive words. It will get the fan visualizing the content before they ever lay eyes on it. The third element to a good description is keywords. So including relevant keywords and phrases that describe your video's content. This also will improve your search engine optimization, your SEO, and help your video appear in search results. Many creators don't realize the significance that goes into SEO on adult websites, and many of them are SEO optimized, but independent creators aren't doing the keyword research to benefit from this. So this is also going to go into making sure you're doing the work to put up good tags, good categories, good labels, content labels, making sure that your content is as easy to find as humanly possible using the internet to the best of our ability. The fourth element to a good description is going to be timestamps. So if your video covers multiple, topics or parts or distinct sections, providing timestamps in the description to help your fans kind of navigate to the specific parts of the video they find most interesting could be really valuable. So you can use the format 0:00 introduction, for example, but you can also do that for the adult pieces of content. So maybe 0 to whatever timestamp is introduction, and then 1 minute to 2 minutes is BJ, then 2 minutes to 6 minutes is stripping, then 6 minutes to 8 minutes is point of view. Like, you can kind of break your content down into timestamps so fans who are more keen on one thing or another can navigate specifically to those sections. Because ultimately, the happier the fans, the more satisfied the customers, the more money you're likely to make. And then last but not least, for a good description, you're going to want to include a call to action, or CTA. This is to encourage the viewer to take an engagement behavior by including a call to action. So you can ask viewers to like, or to comment, or to tip, or to unlock. You just use a call to action that feels right for the platform you're posting on and what the content itself is. Oftentimes, I like to use if and then statements. So if you got hard watching this trailer, then you want to unlock this video. So the call to action is unlock this video, but the if and the then statement makes it a little bit more interesting and enticing. It almost gives the call to action stakes itself. If you did this, or if this happened for you, then you should unlock. You can incorporate all those kinds of if and then statements into any call to action, whether you're asking the fan to like, to comment, to tip, etc. Ultimately, creating great content is only half of the battle of what we do. You heard Yvette say it earlier. We have to be storytellers. We have to be, beautiful in our space. We have to be well educated on the kind of niche that we're in the genre. We have to kind of do everything all at once. But realistically, you need to get the fan to watch the content without ever seeing how great it is. And that takes optimized thumbnails, hooks in your trailers, and great captions or copy. So focus on improving these 3 elements wherever you post content, and I bet you'll see improvements in your earnings and sales. Now, as we begin to wrap up this space, I would love to invite anyone who's listening who has more questions or insights that they want to share to please feel free to come up and request to speak at this time. If you have suggestions, any value you want to add, any questions about your business or mine, I'm an open book, so please do so now. In the meantime, I want to mention that we have a lot of great courses and tutorials coming out over on our YouTube channel. Like we mentioned earlier, we just released our CapCut editing tutorial. If you haven't checked it out yet, I definitely recommend. We've had a ton of great feedback on this one. And again, if you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, please do so. It is youtube.com/SWCEO. And then make sure to hit the bell and turn on notifications so you never miss a new course. Also, a huge thank you to everyone that is subscribed to our SWCEO Telegram bot. If you haven't heard, we released a Telegram bot that essentially sends you daily adult content inspiration and all of the captions that you need for your feed, PPV-locked messages, clip stories, etc. The ideas are researched to be highly trendy and desirable from what your fans are currently seeking, and the captions are optimized with calls to action so that you can increase your earning and unlock potential with every single caption. As of this month, we've also incorporated fetish, kink, and dom content ideas and captions into the bot. So since the average creator isn't likely filming all 30 ideas we send them every month, we've decided to dedicate about half of them to that dom and fetish niche. This way we can provide a wider variety of content ideas to a wider variety of creators and have it all in one place. Telegram bot pushes your daily dose of INSPO to your phone every day around 10 a.m. Central Standard Time so that you no longer have to waste time researching, planning, or coming up with content ideas or captions. The bot takes care of all of it. All right, we've got Twisted here requesting to come up and speak, so let me add you as speaker. Welcome, Twisted.
Hello, everybody, and hello,
Hello.
You just answered my question within the last 5 seconds about the Dom bot. So that's awesome. So now I'm just like, oh, okay. I wanted to say that the Twitter post that was shared on the SWCEO feed about about streaming and being able to reach a wider traffic and funneling and all that. Reading that post, something inside my brain clicked, and I thought, okay, Jill, it's time now to apply everything that you learned over the summer about OBS and graphic design and la-di-da. So I spent the last couple of days just preparing everything, and today I'm going to go live for the first time. And just wish me luck. I did want to share one of the videos that really simplified and made a lot of things click. It's called OBS for Beginners, and the YouTube channel is Hey Shady Lady. And if anyone is, wanting to have a concise breakdown of everything, I've probably watched it like 4 times. I already watched it twice today in a row, and there's a lot of useful information in there. So I just wanted to share that little bit.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. What is it called again? Hey Shady Lady?
Yes, it's all one word, Hey Shady Lady, just the way it sounds. And the title of the video is OBS for Beginners. And it's about an hour and a half video. And it's just straight knowledge, straight to the point, just like you are, Miss MelRose.
I love that. That's perfect. Excellent information to share. And I'm so excited you're going to relaunch and start streaming. Good luck. I'm going to be rooting for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Of course. Awesome. Okay. Well, if anyone else wants to speak, feel free to request, as always. I do want to just say, lastly, but most importantly, actually, let me back up. I also want to bring up that we've had people who aren't super Telegram savvy and have requested that we repurpose or kind of make available our content inspo and captions in a content calendar format. So we do now have content calendars available over at SWCEO.com/shop, which is available for PDF download. We also have sexing scripts there, unlock sales scripts, sales objection scripts, so you can close those deals with fans. And if you want to just get a taste without even spending a dime, there's even completely free PDF downloads available there with 15 solo content ideas that you can go claim right now, no strings attached. And then last but not least, I do want to emphasize that all of the information we put out here on SWCEO, we do so for free because we do believe in this idea that the more financially successful creators are, the more resources we'll have as a community to do things like lobby Congress, impact policy, organize, and more. So if you find value in the content you heard here today or the tweets that you've engaged with, like Twisted had mentioned a second ago, please consider sharing it on your own feeds and retweeting to make this journey easier for some of your own adult creator friends. Our only ask is that you share our stuff so that we can help as many people as humanly possible. So thank you guys in advance for that. It looks like that's going to bring us to the end of today's space. So huge thank you for everyone who joined, came up and speaked. I appreciate you guys. Also, just a reminder, all of these spaces are turned into blog posts available over on SWCEO.com. So when you're listening and you never have to take notes, just head on over to our blog and revisit any or all of the ideas that we've talked about in today's or any of our past episodes. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, CEO Squad.
It would be absolutely incredible if you rated this podcast 5 stars and left a little review. We want to get this podcast to as many adult creators as possible, and you taking a second to leave a couple stars and a review really helps us do that. Thanks so much. Assembly 4 are a collective of sex workers and technologists working to bring the overall cost of advertising down for sex workers through their ad platform Tris.link, educate clients through the Good Client Guide, and much more. Assembly 4 caters to all genders and demographics and raises funds for organizations to fight for sex workers' rights, the decriminalization of sex work, and against exploitation in the sex industry. Learn more at the website assembly4.com for the word, not the number.